Video games can be pretty scary. But do you know what isn't scary? Roblox. At least, that's what I think. That's why today, I'm gonna see if we can find the scariest, most freaky, pants-shittingly horrifying games on Roblox. If there's any game I'd recommend the most from the ones featured in this video, it would probably be Residence Massacre. Released earlier this year, it's already amassed over 75 million visits and overall is a polished and fun experience. And like all things, it's even better with friends. Man, I brought you to my place so we could play Skate 3 and Black Ops 2 on the Xbox. Bro.
Oh, hold on.
The plot of Residence Massacre goes as follows. You and up to 3 other players arrive home and are free to explore the house and the surrounding area. Once inside, you can turn on the radio and hear a broadcast warning nearby residents of a radioactive spill and multiple anomalies in the area, and then tells you to stay inside and keep yourself safe. Once the broadcast is over, you get instructions on what to do to survive, including setting up cameras, keeping the generator in the shed full on fuel for ventilation, looking around the house for supplies, turning on the lights to scare off the anomaly, and barricading the windows to buy yourself time. That's about it for the plot and some aspects of the gameplay, and all that's left to do now is survive.
No, but I'm gassed.
Oh my fucking god!
Did you just ate you?
Maybe. I'll continue the trend of rating these games like I did in my last video, which you should totally go and watch. And I'll give Residence Massacre a solid 8.5 Bloxies out of 10. It's well executed, genuinely scary at times, as well as having another game mode entitled Blood Moon, which I didn't even touch on. So definitely go try Residence Massacre if you haven't already. Alright, hope a train doesn't come through and kill us. Next up, we have Dead Silence, which calls itself the #1 scariest game on Roblox, but I won't lie, it definitely isn't the #1 scariest game on Roblox that it claims to be. At least, not to me. Although, it was quite popular a couple years ago, so let's see if it still holds up. All that you really do in Dead Silence is walk and collect stuff, so I guess that's two things. But that doesn't mean the game is bad. In fact, it's got a pretty alright atmosphere, if a little goofy at times. And the scares could be worse, although none of them got me. Oh. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game. It could be a lot worse, and trust me, it gets worse. Overall, there's no real objective, but there is some semblance of a story, even if it was a little confusing, and the ending is pretty unexciting.
Oh my god!
Does anything happen if we...
I don't think he can die, it's just a story game.
Comparing it to other games that are around nowadays, it falls a bit flat, but that doesn't mean you won't have a good time playing it with friends. I know I certainly did. Overall, I'll give Dead Silence 6 out of 10 Bloxies. It's definitely not a bad game, but it doesn't do anything to expand upon the Roblox horror genre, and it's hard to differentiate from other similar horror games. I'm gonna be honest, Gisha was interesting to say the least. Now, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't finish Gisha. Sweave and I only played it for about 20 minutes, so I'll give you the rundown on our short experience. The game begins by just dropping you in the middle of a forest with no backstory whatsoever. The only way to know what's going on is to read the description of the game, which somewhat sets the story up. There's not even any sort of intro text to describe what your goal is. What the game does start you off with, however, is probably the worst flashlight I've ever used, and as far as I'm concerned, this is your only light source for the rest of the game. Similar to Dead Silence, Gisha is a whole lot of walking, but also has some mediocre puzzles and key collecting on top of that. The first monster you run into is the Teke from Japanese urban legends. Now would probably be a good time to mention that the game is heavily inspired by Japanese culture. The design of the Teke wasn't too bad, but the animation of it walking was so funny I don't think I was able to take it seriously, and the jump scares in this game are pretty lackluster, and some of them are just absolutely unnecessary.
The fuck?
What the hell? Oh my god, no way. Yeah, that was a really cool jump scare. Yeah, that was really epic. That really does it for my experience with Gisha, but just because I didn't enjoy it doesn't mean you won't either. So maybe go try it out for yourself. I won't give Gisha a rating as that doesn't seem fair, considering I didn't play it for long, but I'd recommend checking it out with some friends, and maybe you'll have a better time than me and Sweave did. What I don't recommend you go and play, however, are our next two games. Lastly, we have a double feature, if you can even call these games different from one another. Home Alone Experience and the Farm Experience, like I just said, are pretty much the exact same game with a different coat of paint, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the rest of the games by Swifty Studios are also exactly the same as well. If you couldn't already tell by the names and thumbnails, these games are just plain bad, boring, and predictable. They're copy and pasted cash grabs that almost come off as AI generated, so I'll save you some time by saying that you're not missing out on anything if you haven't played them. All that you really do in these games is sit around and wait for something to happen, and then when said thing happens, you go and investigate, then repeat this process up until an anticlimactic ending. I really shouldn't be surprised that these games are soulless and time wasting. This is Roblox we're talking about. If you want good free horror games, just go to itch.io instead. In conclusion, Home Alone Experience and the Farm Experience are forgetful, unfulfilling, and just downright bad. So these games get the honours of being the first ever 0 out of 10 Bloxies. Hey everyone, it's Splungus. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching the video, and if you're listening to my voice right now, that means you've made it this far into the video, so a very special thanks to you. And yeah, I was working on this video quite a lot over the past week or so. I was supposed to originally get it out in time for Halloween, for it to be like a Halloween special, but clearly that didn't happen. But I hope you still enjoy the Halloween themed video, like 10 or 11 days after Halloween. But yeah, that's all from me. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. I know I always say that, but we'll see how we go with that. And yeah, love you guys, and peace out.